Hello everyone, this is Lindsay. I have a flip through of this journal that I have completed, and I want to talk about the journey of creating a junk journal as I flip through. So perhaps instead of telling you where I got every piece and why I placed it there, I want to talk more about the emotional and creative journey that I take when I create a junk journal. So this size is 8.5 by 5.5. And I began this journey and I love the end product. It makes me so happy. But I started this journey with a simple piece of cardstock. You can start the journey of creating a journal in one of 1,000 different ways. But I chose this piece of paper because it was a misprint. It is a lovely pinkish purple cardstock. But I had printed some of my brightly inked floral labels on one side, and they didn't show up the way I wanted. They didn't work for me. So I decided to just turn it into a cover and cover over those labels and create something beautiful. This has 96 pages, so I have made it chunkier than I normally do. It is quite squished in there, but there are so many beautiful pages throughout. The closure is pink lace and a glittery purple ribbon. The cover really sets the mood for the journal. I do not always make the cover first, but in this case I did. I wanted to try to use this piece of grass cloth wallpaper that I had sitting around left over from a previous project. And I put it on the front, but I knew that I needed to combine more elements if I wanted to make it look like it belonged on the cover and wasn't just a piece glued on. So I took some white gesso and kind of blended that in a messy way. I also took some, I think it was Distress Stain, and painted it over. So you have different variegated shades of this brown. And I used a beautiful floral stencil. I got it Tuesday morning, and I used the gesso through the stencil. And then I used some of the Ken Oliver, they're like those shimmer drops, and I painted over the leaves and the buds of the flowers, but in an artistic, messy way. I think I used a little bit of copper too around the branches. So I love that soft look there. I have this key embellishment, and then this is from My Porch Prince. It's one of her little word labels, which this to me seems like it should be a street number in name, which goes really well with the key. It's stitched all the way around, and it's sewn in with a pamphlet stitch. I covered the inside with just some scrapbook paper from a 12 by 12 paper pad that I've been trying to use up that I got years ago. And I reinforced this with just a piece of scrapbook paper left over from a project. And I just tried to use scraps. I didn't print anything extra for this journal unless I was printing on the back side of a paper that I already had. So these are from my tea postcards, and they were just sitting around. I decided I have too many scraps that I'm working with. Not too many in that I need to get rid of them, but too many in that I need to dedicate a bigger, prominent place to them and not always be so worried about cleaning up all my scraps. I'm sure you understand that. They were bursting out of the box I had them on, and they were going all over the desk. So I decided to move my sewing machine a little closer to my workstation and then have a whole third or quarter, I guess I should say, of my work desk just pile of scraps and let myself be messy, because I think the best that way when I can scrounge through a pile of scraps. So I found this from my vintage tea postcards on Vintage Image Club. It says breakfast in bed charged extra, and it has 2 teddy bears. I was really going for a feel and a color scheme, not a particular theme. Here's a little bag that I jazzed up with lace and a flower. I did not hold back and used some gorgeous wallpaper. Sometimes I save wallpaper because I want it to be a statement piece. I want it to be a cover. But sometimes I wind up saving too much wallpaper and I need to use it as a page. So when you flip the page and you're expecting something boring, you really get a wow factor. So that's why I have this here in the front. And then I just have beautiful little pieces from Joann and other shops, things that I've already had printed out. I like to add a little bit of my handwriting from time to time, added some ghosted butterflies, and I tried to think of extra places to just add pretty things. This is texture paste. So I've tried to copy this color of this teacup. This is Joann's English tea paper, and I only used one sheet. One thing I've been trying to do recently, and I'm loving the results. Of course, it's only one way to deal with it, but instead of using an entire printed paper pack throughout the journal, I try to just pick one of a paper pack and no more than 2 per journal. At least that's the phase I'm in right now. I am sure that I will go into other phases. It gives it an extremely eclectic look, and I really love that. Little tag from Victoria Designs that I've jazzed up. Used some of my Summer Berries paper and some die cuts. Of course, my journals just do not feel complete without elements from the lovely Joann. And fussy cut birds from Bird Books. I love to pair the vintage and the modern. So this is a vintage order form for bird supplies for a canary, I think. Well, it also says tropical fish food. It's a pet supply catalog, the care and treatment of pets there, and I've done stenciling. I also try to choose 1 or 2 stencils and use that throughout the whole journal so I'm not flipping through a ton. So this was the stencil that I've used throughout this journal. This is a something I had completed previously with some Glimmer Mist and stencil and just white copy paper. Just trying to add sweet little touches. This is one of Caroline's envelopes. And I just took a manila tag and I added some ink, distress ink, and then a distress marker. So it's a really fuzzy flower there. Beautiful bird book pages. More from Joann, and then more vintage book pages here. I was also trying to use items I've been hoarding. This lovely wallpaper pouch from Magnolia Seed on Etsy. I've had it forever, and I finally decided to use it in here with a fussy cut bird, some more of that grass cloth, and then this is a little postcard that I slipped in there. Just trying to use beautiful elements. This is Rustic Weeds. I've paired it with Victoria Designs. Again, there's that stencil, trying to add bits and pieces throughout of that stencil for a cohesive look. Beautiful coffee dyed paper from Above Par Crafts. Thank you, Yvette, for this lovely journal card that you made. Worked perfect. Look at this wallpaper. It is glittered. I got it in Happy Mail. Normally, I would try to not mess this up at all, or I'd use it as a cover, but I decided to just kind of hide it. So when you pull the items out, you're really wowed by the beauty of the wallpaper behind it. There was some wide washi tape on it because it was taped up to hold some other goodies, and I left that on there. A beautiful envelope from Joann, and then I created just a little tag. You can really jazz up white doilies. I've used Lindy's Magicals on here, Lindy Stamp Gang Magicals, and then that is just a wallpaper flower. There's more of that stencil, using up sample prints that I had done. Oh my goodness, you guys. I was blown away by the Delusions Ink Sprays. I've seen them in videos. I've heard about them. I haven't used them very much, but I received some in Happy Mail. I finally put it to where I can reach it when I'm working in a journal and not in a drawer where I can't reach it without getting up. The tiniest little bit creates this beautiful ink coverage, and I've stamped it. So I'm in love with Delusions Ink Sprays. I will have to get more. This is my Sweet and Breezy paper pack. This is Creamy Cranberry Garnet. Always think about going the extra mile when you purchase supplies from other artists. So this is one of Joanne's lovely tags, and it was perfect just the way it was. However, when I looked at it, I saw one extra element that could be added, and I used some of the Lindy's Magicals. I'm absolutely in love with Magicals right now. I purchased some on Amazon, and I am in love. So I just added some Magicals here and here, sprayed it with water, dried it. It really gave a cohesive look to it, and I inked the edges just a little darker with some purple ink. Just put a sweet envelope here. And when you lift it up, you see that there's a recipe for peach shortcake. I've done brush splatters. This is an ink saver background from my outdoor birds. And there's birds and there's numbers, and this is just a page with numbers. And so I've done a bunch of paintbrush using that Delusions again. This is a Dollar Tree butterfly sticker, some Tim Holtz paper, and beautiful floral book pages. I love how this came out. So this is my grungy botanicals, bright grungy botanicals. Oh goodness, I forgot what I've called them. I've done so many paper packs, I forget what they're called. But you can get it in my shop. But some of this is just the digital, and then some of this is dried from this page. Isn't that gorgeous? I'll talk about that in just a minute. So it popped through the other side, and I dried it, and it has a gorgeous waterlogged effect. Some tag from Happy Mail and a die cut tag. And then here I used that stencil again, and I used some water that had a little bit of the Delusions in it. I was cleaned my paintbrush. When you clean your paintbrush, I have those little Dollar Tree art palettes where you can put, like, they're plastic and you can put the different colored paints. When I cleaned my paintbrush in some water, it still was a light pink, and then I used a shimmery purple watercolor, and I got this gorgeous effect playing with the stencil. And I've added a little image from Avalon Rose Design, and I wanted this to look really beautiful with this page here. This is an altered paper clip that Joanne made me, and then a little punched out heart from a floral book. There's a little journal card there. And this is just one of those promo pages from Wallpaper book. It's not actually wallpaper. See, this is a lamp and a part of a chair. It shows you what the wallpaper would look like on a wall. And instead of throwing them out, I like to keep them and use them anyway. See, there's a lamp. So here's a playing card Joanne gave me, and I cut that out of a book. Some book pages. This is French Script Botanicals. I love this paper pack. And I just clicked on some ephemera. Joanne made this as well. I was pulling lots from hers because I love her look. Using those Delusions again, and I just drew a little flower on there, adding some washi tags. This is from my Faith Image Club. My My presence shall go with thee, and I will give thee rest. Exodus 33:39. It's a journal card that I've printed from over there. I've inked the images. And since you'll be watching this Labor Day weekend, most likely 2020, there's a gigantic sale on all of the image clubs. So head over to my website. Click on Clubs and Collections. You'll be blown away. You really will be. I've made a huge sale over there. So the journey, we've been talking about the journey of creating, and sometimes it's just trying new things. I adore this little corner here, and I just used a simple black ink pen, just a cheapo ink pen on a stencil here, and then I put some Magicals and some spritzing and some blotting and some drawing, and how beautiful is this when it would have just been a plain white boring page. And of course it came through the other side a little, and I love that as well. I've made a little tuck spot here that you could tuck things in. Book page, Tim Holtz paper. I've done some more stenciling over this ink saver page. And then, since this page was really quite boring because it was just a print I had done for a video showing off some elements from Design Cuts William Morris pack. So this is showing mostly different stems, which is quite boring by itself. But I've added a little tuck spot, and this is from My Porch Prints. And then a little copy-dyed index card from Above Par Crafts that I've stamped these little birds on. This is a little sticker that you can use. It's a washi tape sticker. This is from Victoria Designs. My Creamy Cranberry Garnet, and I've layered up a Happy Mail ribbon and some pink lace. Sweet and Breezy. Again, look at those gorgeous Delusions brush strokes that I used. think it was cherry pie, cherry something. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Stamped some butterflies, added some rhinestones. This is Happy Mail Sari Silk hand-stitched ribbon I received. And then here I stamped and did paint splatter. Actually, I just dipped it in the Delusions and tap, tap, tap. Dried it off, made this gorgeous splatter effect. There's that gorgeous wallpaper. Trying to use items I've been hoarding, like these lovely Tim Holtz ladies made a tuck spot in a wallpaper tag. And instead of just leaving the tag, I went ahead and added an applique and some lace. Isn't that gorgeous? Victoria Designs. Gorgeous. There's a little sticker, a little piece of Victoria Designs paper I made into a little writing page there. This is Terrific Times. I've done a little vintage stamp cluster at the top of this page. I've done a little tuck spot, and this is another vintage advertisement. Really pretty stamped image there. Bird pages, little painted flower with rhinestones, little cluster, and different pieces of ephemera. I chose frozen fruit salad over here so that it would kind of go with the summer berries over there. This is one of Joanne's pages. That's Victoria Designs. I've just cut out and added to the scrapbook paper. We also have ghosted butterflies. And here's my Magicals experiment again. Again, a black ink pen, a floral stencil, and using the Magicals. The color I've used for the Magicals throughout is Peony Scarlet from the Prairie Wildflower set. And I was thrilled to see there were blotches of blue in that Magicals mix. I think that looks so pretty, and that's actually on the back of wallpaper. Isn't that gorgeous? And then I signed really big on the back. And yes, the back picked up some ink splotches from my media mat, but I love it. I think it just goes so well with the whole theme. And my journey for this journal is complete, but I know I'll be starting another one soon in the process all over again. I hope maybe it encouraged you to take a journey to make a journal this weekend. Just start off with a cover. Pick a piece of paper that's been sitting around that needs something more added to it, that needs to be recycled and new life built into it. See where you can take it, see where it goes. If you'd like to purchase this journal, it's for sale in my shop under Lindsay's Handmade. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see all of you later next week.